Thank you, Dr. Beatrix D'Souza. Our next speaker is Mr. Joe Bailey. He had emigrated to Australia in 1983, and in rather quick time he founded the Australian Canberra Anglo-Indian Association. And he's known to be a good network of bringing people together down under. And he's lobbied a lot to make this reunion a success, to get people to come over, etc. So we would like to hear his views on the association in Canberra and things Anglo-Indian down under.
Yes, good morning everyone. I've been associated with the Anglo-Indian community back in India as well. When I was a bachelor in my mid-20s, I served on the committee of the Perambur branch, Madras. I was invited by the then President Trevor Thompson to join the branch. The Perambur branch at that time, this was in the mid-70s, was only about 140 members. The Perambur branch, once in the 60s, boasted of nearly 600 members. And although most of the 600 people had immigrated to Australia, there were many, many more who had come to Perambur. And I told the President, we've got to build this branch up, because the 140 members were only scholarship holders. They were only there for scholarships. But all the well-to-do were not there. So we started to spread the message for all these people who are not members to join the branch, and the branch went up to 650 again, or 600. Then I was promoted to the State Council as well. At that time they had the MLA as the President of the State Council, and for every 100 members the branch had, there was one State Council representative all over Tamil Nadu. So I've been for 2 years, this was before I got married, at New Delhi, where I met Frank Anthony in 76 and 77. In 1983, I immigrated to Australia and went to Canberra. My wife Shaman got a job as a stenographer. In fact, she got 2 jobs in the first week. After a month, I got a job as a bouncer in a rugby club, but I hated it because the job of the bouncer was to throw at people. And I was just new to the country, and I don't know whether I did a good job or not. And anyway, I had some brothers there who said, no, there's no such thing as Anglo-Indian now, that was back in India, it's now only Australian. And being someone new to the country, I was concentrating on building up our lives there. But during that time, when the Greeks achieved something, the Italians achieved something, and people from the Middle East who achieved something by the names. The newspapers would say, oh, see the Greeks, the Italians, see how much they have contributed to the Australian society. And I always thought, what about the Anglo-Indians? We have contributed 100%. I may have come across just 1 or 2 Anglo-Indians who have not done well for themselves, going to their own fault. But otherwise, they've all done very, very well. Because I suppose they've got the Christian religion, English and another tongue, and the Western culture. Something with the Greeks, the Italians, or the Dutch, never had. Then came 1992, where the third reunion was handed over to Perth. I got interested again in Anglo-Indian affairs. So I got in touch with is Errol D. Rosario. The third reunion was to be held in 1995, and I started talking to him and a few other members like Joy Gasper. I think Gordon Maha was overseas at that time, doing very well for himself in international affairs. But anyway, and I got really interested, and I went for this reunion. I thought to myself, let's start a Canberra reunion, a Canberra association. So I got in touch with Errol D. Rosario. He sent me their constitution. I made just 2 or 3 changes because they were a large association and we were just a small one, and started off from there. It was just pure interest. And then I thought to myself, they're not just going to start an association, there are people knowing about us. So I got in touch with the High Commission, I got in touch with all the senators in Canberra, members of Parliament, members of the State Legislative Assembly, and started this association. And they all were invited. We were all invited to all the events run by the association. We would have a ball, picnics, just table tennis tournaments, and sometimes a concert or karaoke, as it's called these days. So we really had done well for ourselves, and at every event, we would try to invite someone from Sydney, some Anglo-Indian achiever from Sydney or Melbourne at our events as one of our guests of honor. And this we have carried on since 1993 till today. In fact, last year we celebrated 25 years of our existence. Then earlier, I felt that this was sometime in 2004 and 2006, that we were not really united. Perth had one association, now we've got 3. Victoria has got about 4, 5 to 6. Sydney's got 2. Canberra's got 1. Brisbane had 1, but now they don't exist anymore. Adelaide had 1, but they also, I think, have ceased to exist. So I thought to myself, let's start this federation. And I got the cooperation of all the associations to start the National Federation of Anglo-Indian Associations of Australia. That, of course, has presently have some teething troubles, but that will be overcome shortly. So that's all I would have to say about Canberra and about the other associations in Australia. They're all doing very well. The Brisbane people in Brisbane are keen in starting an Anglo-Indian association again. And I will do what I will have to do the same way Perth had helped me, just by giving them our constitution. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Joe. You needed no prompting from us. Our next speaker is Christine Lazarus. She has been a former member of the Legislative Assembly of Andhra Pradesh for 2 terms, 3 terms, for 3 terms, which means full terms, 3 terms, okay. And she's also with the Federation of Anglo-Indian Associations in this country. So over to Christine Lazarus.
A very good morning and Happy New Year to each one of you. Yeah, it's such a privilege to be here, to meet up with many a good friend that I met maybe 6 years ago, and to meet all the others too. Very interesting, the title of today's program or event called Bending the Bow. I was wondering, how did this come about? It's really very good. We have the bow, we have the boa, the quiver, and the arrows. So when I was looking through Google, I found that to make a bow is really very, very difficult. To be a bow is even more difficult. So I just wanted to share with you what I read on Google. And it says, bending the bow is a technique. Its mechanics and its dynamics are important. It says, be open, get on the front foot, go forward with mind, heart, and body to reach your targets. This is for every leader, and particularly for every MLA and MP. I'm truly disappointed not seeing our MPs. We have 2 MPs, at least one should have been here. We have MLAs, thank God for that, and ex-MLAs and ex-MPs. And really very, very grateful to each one of them who have been, to me, mentors and examples. My dear friends, we had the greats before, the pioneers of our community, to whom we need to bow our heads and pay homage. I had, of course, as my mentor, Sir Henry Gidney, from whom I not only framed my entire first term in the legislature on what he had done for the Anglo-Indians during his time. That must have been pretty difficult because it was an English government with whom he had to fight. The fight goes on. We also have to fight. I remember when I was nominated, it was difficult times for me, really difficult time. But I'm glad, made of sterner stuff, was able to bring to the fore much of what I had done in my very first term. Thank God for my parents. They have instilled in me the need to serve community, to serve humanity, because it started with leprosy and then with disability and whatever not. But the most important thing that I believe today, what made me a 3-time MLA, is because of all these works that I had done to the weakest of our brothers and sisters. And mind you, I totally depended on the government to give me whatsoever support I needed, and I got it. I'm so glad that the government of Andhra Pradesh, during my 3 terms, have, of course, I had to make the road. There was no road made for me. So we had to make it as we went. And I'm glad that we succeeded in terms of the various geos that are there. I'm so glad to hear our MLA Garu, Mr. Oscar Nigli. I still call MLA Garu because Dr. Rajshekhar Reddy, the Chief Minister, said, once an MLA, always an MLA, on an MP. So our MLA Garu said, poverty of education. And that was something that was so close to my heart, because during my growing years, I seen and witnessed a lot of this kind of a poverty of education, poverty of food, poverty in housing, and those are the issues that are closest to my heart, and I took it up and have been successful with the government office. 185 seats in professional colleges. I didn't worry about school education that much, though I did get a GO for education in class 1 to 10. But I definitely strove for the professional post because there was a birth of the Anglo-Indian in professionalism. And getting 185 seats was, to me, the greatest gift that God could give to this community. And what was those 185 seats? The 185 seats were in medical, dental, nursing, 100 in engineering, all kinds of engineering. And the sadness about it, the sad part of it, is, I feel really very bad, is that it was not appreciated. It was not taken. In fact, I'm so sorry to say that there were people who discouraged the young people from coming forward to apply for these courses. A few of them did, and I'm glad today many of them are serving abroad. But then what we need is to enhance our people in our country. Yeah, I'm sure all those who have gone to Australia, England, Canada, or wherever are doing wonderfully well. God bless them. And they are helping the ones out here. And that's a beautiful gesture because they care. And the stepping stone for each one of us today is that we need to include the poor of the community in all that we are doing. Today, Chennai is supposed to be one of the most populated states for Anglo-Indians. And I see more of the others than people from Chennai. And I wonder what happened. I've been to Chennai many a time during, when we had the National Forum. 2 minutes? Oh my goodness. 3 terms and 2 minutes. Anyway, now, okay, yeah. True. Now of course we have a new MLA right now who's given his 2nd term, and I called him to congratulate him, and I said, Elvis, there are so many GOs which I have given to you in your 1st term from my 3 terms, and I expected you to do, to carry on with it. Community is not interested in education. They're not interested in empowerment. They're not interested in all these things that you're talking about. So what are they interested in then? Dance, drink, sing. And he's doing that. I'm glad. I told him, I'm glad you're doing that. But now, since you're blessed with a 2nd term, please turn tail and do what you have to do for the community. And this is what I also requested, or many of the other people that I meet, particularly the leaders in all our associations, whether it's in the Federation or in various places, to take advantage of the government. The government has everything. We need to go and ask for it. Ask and you shall receive. That's what they say. So let us, I know I thought I would have at least 15, 20 minutes, but there's so much to talk about. And I'm really very disappointed because Mr. Hay, Richard Hay, promised to do a lot of stuff. I just quickly run through 12 points which I gave him. I said, A1, community, unity in community. You need to work towards it. Scholarships and higher education reservations for the Anglo-Indians, pan-India. Skill development programs. And we have micro and medium and large. Then awareness programs at quarterly intervals in every state. Senior citizen widows, orphans, deserted women must have a home in all these different states of ours. And geriatrics was definitely one of the emphases that I made with him. Culture, the Anglo-Indian community needs to be emphasized. I think we have Mr. Souza to talk about it, and we don't want to commit any more genocide. So I think we in this forum should take this up. sports, our community was so good at hockey, right? Today we don't hear anything about it, but I hope you had a beautiful hockey match. But at the national level, at state levels, we need to encourage our young people to get into the teams. But that's a lot of money today that we have to spend. But I'm sure it can happen because the government is sabka saath, sabka vikas. That means with everyone you have a lot of stuff. So I gave him all my proposals. I gave him all the copies of the GEOs, like I gave to all our people, hoping that it would be a precedence that they could take and see that in their states they could get the advantage. And well, sorry, I'm taking up a little more time. Thank you so much for this opportunity. God bless each one of you and have a wonderful reunion dance.
With due respect to our speakers today, I'd like to say on behalf of Bridget and myself that there has been no partiality in the timing. Okay? I've had a timer here and each person has been given the allotted 10 minutes. We're going to just take a very short tea break. There's tea and coffee at the back of the hall. But we'd love you to be back here in 10 minutes, please, because we've got more speakers and then we've got that all-important question and answer session. Thank you.
Transparency is something that we should all really aspire to. And on that note, may I invite Claire Williams to take the stage.
Morning. So this topic that I'm going to talk about, poverty, is not a very popular topic. I've attended 9 of the 11 reunions, and only 2 of them had an event associated with poverty and helping Anglo-Indians. My talk to you is based on 20 years of administering a charity that's inaugurated in the US. And the sole purpose of the charity is to help less fortunate Anglo-Indians in India. And what I speak to you, I'm sure some of the things I say may be controversial, but it's based on my personal experience. No second-hand or third-hand reports, my personal experience. All right? Please. So first, let's have an overview. I'll overview what I have seen Anglo-Indians in India. I'll give you some statistics of our charity projects. I'll give you some of the highlights and lowlights. The big question I have is how will this project survive? And another question I have is, what's the future of helping the community in India? What's the probability of survival? So I have more questions from you than really things to tell you. So some estimates. By 1980, half the community migrated. I think all of you know this. Still migrating, still migrating. Breakdown of those left behind. And this is a lot of Tramigram and asking various talking heads ready over here. This is my estimate. Those not able to emigrate is 30%. Those who are wealthy, about 5%. Those who do not want, about 25%. My friend Harry McLeod doesn't want to emigrate. But there is about 40% who are poor. And of that, at least 10% of them, at least, probably underestimated.
Ursula Fosbury, she is the president of the Anglo-Indian Guild in Bangalore, as you know, set up by George Fernandez, and she's taken over from him. And we've all heard of the good work that is being done by the Guild in Bangalore. So let us hear it from her. Welcome, Ursula.
Thank you, Richard. Respected Mr. Gordon Mahar, President of the International Union of Anglo-Indians. Respected Mr. Harry McLeod, Convener of the International Reunion, dignitaries, and my dear friends. It gives me great pleasure in speaking to you on the occasion of the 11th reunion of Anglo-Indians, which is unique in its purpose and has contours of a pilgrimage to the land of our forefathers. At the onset, I wish to convey my appreciation to the one man who has made and undertaken the responsibility of organizing this event, Mr. Harry McLeod. Harry's internationally known magazine, Anglos in the Wind, is one publication that keeps the flame of the Anglo-Indian community burning. The magazine keeps the Anglo-Indian worldwide connected, and Harry works with an unparalleled enthusiasm and fanatical zeal to keep it going. I would have asked you to give him an applause, but it has come in ahead. Thank you. Coming back to my talk, tell me where in the world can one find parallel of a mixed race originating from one country and now distributed across the world, but continues to keep in touch with their land of their birth. Have you paused to think, what is that bond that keeps the Anglo-Indian community together? And what makes you visit the land of your origin in such large numbers, except for the fact that you may have relations here? Friends, we as a race came about as a strategic necessary for the British rulers in India in order to serve as a cushion between them and the local population. We were trained by the British in matters of warfare and administration, and we responded and performed with excellence in any task assigned to us and exceeded all expectations of the British, who after a time began to look at us with suspicion, lest we overpower them. Yes, my friends, the British gave us a brilliant, efficient and creative mind, but India gave us the richness of the soul, and it is this soul in the form of a collective consciousness that propels us to remember one another, despite the fact that we live in different countries. This is the soul that bonds us and imparts a sense of belonging and instills in us a desire to meet each other. Without the soul, we would have been a lost race. And therefore, my friends, this international meet today is not just a gathering or convention or a get-together. It is a phenomenon unwitnessed in any mixed-race community anywhere in the world. That is why I say that we are indeed a nation without borders, living in complete harmony with the country of our adoption, a nation bounded by the reality of a historic origin, and finally a nation with an undeclared emotion, pledge to live as one entity, whichever part of the world we may be in. One of the striking characteristics of our community is our sense of contentment. By contentment, I do not mean lack of ambition. Ambition and goals are necessary in life. What we do not have is a greed or a propensity for unbridled consumerism, traits that are clearly harmful and detrimental to social well-being. We do not covet anybody's land for political reasons. In other words, we have no geopolitical ambitions. We are grateful and at peace with the governments we live under. Friends, after India became independent, many of us left the shores of this country in search of security and a better life, and anchored ourselves in several English-speaking countries of the Commonwealth. Although decades have passed by since then, and physically we may be in the West, but our psyche continues to be drawn to the Orient. There is no emotional merger with the local communities. In other words, we live as a distinct race, embodying the comfort of the material West and the deep and rich philosophy of the East, which includes a sense of family values and respect for the elderly. It is therefore our moral responsibility, and this is very important, not to trivialize this unique cultural heritage, but to instill this awareness in minds of our children, whichever part of the world they may be. Finally, friends, when you left India after the end of the British rule, there were many of us who stayed back, some from choice and others out of circumstances. Many of us have done well for ourselves, and many others are living in poverty and in conditions of economic distress. Let us not fail to think about them, and it is this section of Anglo-Indians that I, in the capacity of the President of the Anglo-Indian Guild based in Bangalore, and as Secretary in the Federation of Anglo-Indian Associations in India, am interested in and concerned with. I would like to mention a few words about the Anglo-Indian Guild. Today the Guild has a membership of 650 family members. We take up the cause of our members, attending to their problems and getting them jobs whenever possible. We also pay scholarships for deserving school children, pensions and medical assistance to the old and infirm. The Guild mainly sustains on donations, a little from entertainment, but one of the most important and valuable sources of donation from abroad, which I would like to acknowledge with gratitude, is the Canadian Social Service for Anglo-Indians in India. And this money is mainly used for scholarships for children and pensions for the senior citizens. Another donation received 3 years ago from the South London Anglo-Indian Association is still helping, among other causes, a family of 2 spastic children. The Guild celebrates the annual Christmas tree, presenting our senior citizens with gifts and hampers. We also entertain our members by taking them on a day out, engaging with them, and making them feel wanted. The Anglo-Indian Guild has a team of dedicated workers who help in running the office and various functions during the year. Diocesan priest to address various pastoral as well as other issues of interest to the community. I believe more things are wrought by prayer than the world dreams of. Coming back to the subject of the less fortunate of the Anglo-Indian community, I have intimate knowledge of the state and condition of this section of our community, which is indeed in need of our help and guidance in order to achieve a decent standard of life. Many drop out of school because of economic reasons, the intelligent and aspirational ones cannot pursue higher studies because of the same reason. Therefore, if we are to lift the less fortunate members in our community in India to a higher standard of living, then one must help them achieve higher levels of education through scholarships and other financial help. Then there are the senior citizens struggling in the evening of their lives for medical assistance to which we cannot fail to spare a thought. And my dear friends, I have endeavored to place before you certain facts and suggestions regarding our Anglo-Indian community in this country and appeal to your philanthropic senses to come forward with your response. If we are to sustain as a nation without borders and still make a mark in this unforgiving world, we have to think of those in our community who have fallen behind us for no fault of theirs. Otherwise, the Anglo-Indian narrative will not be complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Ursula. Since Ursula has spoken about her work in Bangalore, I must place it on record that the All India Anglo-Indian Association has also been doing some commendable work in Bangalore, and we've written about the work Manisha Nero has been doing. Harry ran the cover story on that. I must mention that the association has received 2 crore rupees into the fund so that they can set up a community center for the community in Bangalore. So kindly give